what we may have coming here. Yeah, we've got some Mutilis coming down, but we do have a Dark Shrine. So I guess our Zerg player was just the smarty pants that he is. He knew something was going to be coming down. This is not enough Zerg units to take on this Protoss ball, especially right now. So the wisest choice by our Zerg player here is to continue macroing up. He did take his gold, so that's going to help him out considerably. He really needs to do some kind of harassment, because unfortunately our Protoss player is also starting to secure. It looks like he's going to try to secure his third very shortly. But that's exactly what Mutilis are for. So we'll see what he does with these Mutas here. What kind of a counter do we have to the Mutas? We do have a cannon. We have one cannon here, so these Mutas can fly in here and pretty much take out a lot of these probes. We do have some additional gateways going down. There's our Dark Shrine. This mineral line is also not very protective from the Mutas. One cannon is still not going to do enough, especially against 8 Mutas. That's plenty to take out one cannon if you really wanted to. So Blink would be a very good option, as well as a few more Stalkers, because right now these Mutas are going to start just taking out the probes. And it looks like these two cannons here are going to do some damage, but these Mutas are easily going to be able to clean up this cannon here. No! Okay, yeah, not in time. See these Stalkers show up, and that pretty much pushes him away. At the same time, we got some DTs coming here, and these DTs are going to start hacking away that poor Queen. So he does not have any detection down here. And this gold, that's probably a good idea for him to get something like that. Now, there is detection down here and detection up here, so the DTs are not going to be able to do a whole lot to the main and the natural, but this third expansion, the gold expansion, unfortunately, is not going to do very well. So, sure enough, he's trying to bait this DT into detection here, but there's the Overseer, and that DT is going to go down faster than you can imagine. So we do have Blink on the way. Now that our Protoss player did see the Mutas, he knows that Blink is going to be a very wise choice. These Mutas are just kind of hanging out here, biding their time. And we've got another pylon going down. I'm going to imagine that we see a couple more cannons here. But again, our Protoss player is opting for that 2-base play. And he is going to try to push in here, though. He's got a very significant army, though. There's 3 Spine Crawlers and a lot of Roaches, so I would still give the edge to the Zerg player. He can still macro up very, very quickly, get some Zerglings out or do something. But unfortunately, he is going to lose his third gold expansion, so this is not going very well for our Zerg player. The problem is, you never want to be a Zerg player and have the same amount of bases as your Protoss opponent, because a 2-base Protoss will always beat a 2-base Zerg, unless there's just really, really significant play. So these Mutas are going to fly in here and try to do some kind of harassment. Unfortunately, they're just going to find more cannons, but they are going to be able to take out just one cannon by itself, but at what cost? Pretty much all of them. So these probes here, they're just going to kind of sit out here. So these two, this is not very good micro for our Vampire here. These Mutas, if he was a higher tier player, he would have kept those Mutas and probably used them out here in the field, or used them for some kind of a harass that did not include going for the mineral line. In fact, what he could have done is brought in these Mutas and taken out this pylon here. He could have then tried to take out this pylon here, which would have actually powered down all of this here. That would have been a lot more effective use of those Mutas. So we'll see. It looks like he's just going to sit back and he's going to get his army together. But unfortunately, our Zerg player also has no upgrades. At this point, I'm going to give this game to the Protoss player. He's got a pretty significant tech advantage here. He's got level 2 weapons and he's got level 1 armor. And if you look at the supply count, he's just right underneath the Zerg, which is actually just fine if you're a Protoss player. Protoss units are a little bit stronger. Some people call them OP, but they also cost a lot more. So that's why the Protoss player can get on 3 bases, and he can reach, or he can get somewhere close to the macro ability of the Zerg, and the Protoss player will always win, just because he has stronger units and just as many of them. So looks like our Protoss player is going to push out here to the middle and take a quick little pixie, see if he can see anything going on. You do have a DT that's pretty much securing this down, but he does not know about this third expansion going down here. So if our Protoss player wants to take this game, it is most likely going to have to be here within the next few minutes, because once our Zerg player starts macroing up again, it's going to be hard for him to deal with that. So it looks like we got a significant engagement going on. It looks like our Zealots are going to run out here and start taking some damage. Guardian Shield is going to basically sit there and do nothing, because our Protoss player is going to get scared and back out. That is not a very wise decision. You know what he should do, because he sees these overseers, is he should turn these 2 DTs into an Archon. Maybe get a few more Archons, because the Archons do so much damage versus biological. So, at the same time, though, it looks like this unit, or this army is going to... I don't know what he's doing. He's actually sitting out here just kind of chilling in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he thinks that the Protoss player is going to try to come around here and take out this expansion. I'm not sure. If I were him, I would send something out here to kind of find out where this Protoss player is. So, well, looks like our Protoss player is going to go and get his third up. So this game is definitely in our Protoss player's hands. So it does like he is going to get flyer attacks level 1. So he's going to get air weapons level 1 for his mutas. And let's actually see what he has on the field here. He's got 13 mutas, which is actually pretty decent. And this may be his whole strategy, is just kind of stall this Protoss ball long enough to where he can get his mutas in there. And it looks like we did get the Archons in here. So sure enough, Tomnov did bring out those Archons. And so these Archons are going to just lay some significant waste to pretty much everything here. Although, we'll see. This Protoss ball is pretty easy. He should use some Guardian Shield to try to protect him. But look, all these mutas are going to come in here and just... With all these roaches here, unfortunately, our Protoss player did not make a very wise decision there as far as Guardian Shield. Yeah, this Zerg player did very well just sitting back and let the Protoss player make the mistake of just pushing in here and right against those little spine crawlers, and he had all those mutas that showed up that were actually just kind of sitting there. So right now it looks like our Protoss player is the one on the run, and if he can hold this off and get his third going up and going, these 2 probes would better get back to work, then that will help him considerably. So right now he's going to just allow the Zerg player to come in here right next to all of his cannons. He's going to try some Blink Micro, and Blink Micro is not very good, unfortunately. So our Zerg player looks like he is going to be able to push our Protoss player back. Let's see if there are any units going to be warping in here. I'm not seeing it. There's 11 more roaches coming in for a Protoss, or for a Zerg player. It does look like he did warp in a bunch of DTs, which actually was very smart, because what he did with this is he took out the overseers with his stalkers here, and he has these DTs as basically kind of a backup plan. So, but unfortunately now our Zerg player is at a point where he can actually start kind of macroing up here, and he's going to be able to rebuild his army pretty quickly. These DTs are going to come in here and start hacking away. There needs to be an overseer in here. These DTs are going to make short work of this army, and sure enough, these DTs push that army out of there. So where's the overseer? There's the overseer there. He should have probably waited for the overseer. Now the overseer's here, and as soon as he sees that, I wouldn't be surprised if these DTs get turned into Archons to help in the battle there. So this is not a very good situation right now. It's 72 under 105 for supply, and kind of in the last ditch, our Protoss player there is going to try to get a bunch of cannons up, and this is going to be a little bit too late. So these DTs, unfortunately, are going to be spotted very quickly, and if he is able to warp in a few more DTs, that would really help. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Protoss has a whole lot left going here. He's got some Zealots that are going to come in here and try to do some damage, but with a little bit of micro, our Zerg player is going to easily take these 2 out. And once he has this position, he's going to just be able to keep reinforcing it here. He's going to come in here and start taking out probes. And this is probably not the wisest thing, as you get yourself stuck in between 3 cannons here with a bunch of DTs. No overseer! So our Zerg player is going to have to back out here, or he's going to have to do as much damage as he can, because he does not have another overseer on the way. So as long as these DTs are here, man, our Protoss player can actually do pretty well. These 2 roaches are rallied to the wrong spot. They're going to get hacked up in a heartbeat. So at the same time, though, our Zerg player was able to macro up, or at least start saturating his third here. He's going to get some gas going. He's obviously a little bit gas starved. You can see he's been using a lot of his gas for those overseas, and at the same time, this DT is going to come down here and start hacking away. And our poor Zerg player, man, he just can't get a break with these expansions. What he should have done is gotten some detection right away. Because right now, he's just going to sit back here. There's that overseer who's going to try to clean out this DT so he can get his drones back to work. But right now, our Protoss player, see, he's actually not doing too bad. He's got almost 1,000 minerals and almost 500 gas saved up. So, I mean, We'll see what our Protoss player decides to do at this point. He knows that there's mutas on the field, so he needs to have anti-air, and Blink has pretty much covered him for that. But he also knows that there are Banelings, because there is a Baneling nest in here somewhere, so he's got to be cognizant of that. Our Zerg player could always go right back to making Banelings to take out Mass Zealot, and at the same time he knows that there's a bunch of Roaches, so really the Roaches are going to turn the tide in this, because our Protoss player just does not have a whole lot to take out the Roaches. So you can see the Roaches here are going to just basically chew away at these Zealots. The Zealots are not going to let her. Actually, surprisingly, the Zealots are doing a lot of damage, and that's mostly because the Zealots have that +2 attack and +1 armor, and these Roaches, looks like we have level 1 for our Hydras, but as far as the Roaches go, who are all rallying, this is a big misclick by our Zerg player. He's got his Roaches rallied all the way up here, which is not a very good spot for them to be rallied for, especially since they're being taken out. So these Roaches here are still got no armor going. They've got +1 attack, so the Protoss player does have the advantage. He does have level 3 on the way, which is very, very good. I would say he would be well to do to get some more DTs out here, maybe some Archons, because Archons are really, really, really powerful against those Zerg biological units. And right now he's tried he's tried the Mutalisk, and the Mutalisk can't really get in here and do a lot because of the cannons. He's tried Roach and Hydra, but now Roach and Hydra has been getting eaten up by this Protoss Gateway ball with the DTs mixed in here. All he has to do is take out the Overseer, and those DTs can really go to work. So the question is, what's the strategy going to be for our Zerg player? Is he going to continue doing what he's been doing, or is he going to switch to something else? So right now it looks like he's got a lot of Lings on the way, which a lot of Lings on the field, which is not a bad idea. It doesn't look like anybody's making anything right now. Oh, never mind. There's the there's the correct key there for the production. So level 3 is just about done for our Protoss player, which does not bode well for our Zerg player. So this Protoss ball is actually sitting here way out of position right now. If the Zerg player knew that, he could probably come up here and do a lot of damage, which, I don't know, it looks like he is going to try to push forward. But at the same time, our Protoss player is going to find this lower expansion turn. And it's going to be lights out for this expansion down here for Zerg. So the question is, our Zerg kind of turn around and try to clean this up, or try to take this army head on? He's going to try to go and do kind of a base race, which would not be very smart at all. So sure enough, he is going to try to lure the Protoss army in here, and all these Lings are trapped behind the Roaches. That is not where you want your Lings to be. Oh, that is just a really bad positioning. That is not going to work out for our Zerg player. However, once those Zerglings came free and we're able to start getting a little bit more of a surround on these Stalkers here, it looks like the Roaches are going to be able to do their job. Now the DTs got taken out fairly early because of this Overseer, and what our Protoss player should have done is just gone ahead and blinked his Overseer in here to take out the... I can't talk right now. Should have blinked his Stalkers into the Overseer, taken him out, so that the DTs get it done their work. But now our Protoss player is just going to sit back and try to rebuild his army. At the same time, though, you got a lot of Roaches that are going to come in here, and Roaches are going to be dramatic, just really, really good against these Stalkers. Even though our Stalkers have level 3, there's just not enough to really take this army head on. And this Overseer here is, of course, going to see these DTs. The DTs are going to back up saying, yeah, they can see us, so it's not a very good idea. So that's, again, it's just that rallying all the way up here right in front of the Protoss base is not a very good idea for those Roaches. So with this level 3 now done, and then DT is starting to hack way do his job, that Overseer has got a little bit of Blink Micro is going to be able to take up the Roaches. So, kind of getting to that point though, let's take a look at our bases here. So the Protoss player, his main is completely mined out, his natural is just about mined out itself. He's got, oh my goodness, and EdwardCullen has just left the game without a GG. So it looks like he just, I don't know, I guess he didn't really know what to do to counter against that, this DT slash Stalker slash basically gateway play. I mean, you have these Blink Stalkers that would just be able to come in and take out the Overseers, which would leave the DTs unchecked, start hacking away. What he should have done, I feel like, is gone for a little bit higher tech. He could have even jumped into maybe some Ultras. because the problem is our Protoss player never got beyond gateway units.